The man replacing Christian Horner at Red Bull has admitted that it felt unreal to be at the team without Horner also being there. In his first official address as Red Bull's new CEO and F1 team principal, Laurent Mekies said, "It still feels a bit unreal to be here and not to see him. It would be impossible to underestimate the size of the achievement this team has had under 20 years of Christian's leadership." Now, as the fallout continues from Horner's abrupt sacking as Red Bull's F1 principal, it seems that the Milton Keynes-based outfit don't really know what they want. In other news, Helmut Marko has been at it again. He said goodbye to Christian on social media, bid farewell. It's all gotten a bit emotional amongst the Red Bull outfit. But what does Marko see in the future for Red Bull's star driver Max Verstappen? Well, it seems even the Austrian himself isn't sure. In Marko's Instagram tribute to Horner, he said, "As for the sporting situation, there are still 12 races to go, and we will continue to fight for the Drivers' Championship as long as it is mathematically possible." Now, this is something I had been considering because everybody keeps ruling out Red Bull and Verstappen. Now, I think it's fair to say we can rule Red Bull out of the constructors. McLaren are pretty much running away with that one. But, as Marko points out, mathematically, the Dutchman could still catch Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, who are still fairly tight at the top of the table with just 8 points between them. But this message that Marko has been putting out on his social media did not mirror comments that he already gave to German media. Speaking to OE24, Marko said that it was over. Verstappen's dominant era with the team was done, and that the championship was over. It was only between Norris and Piastri. So where do you think Marko's actual opinion lies? Was his Instagram statement just his attempt of trying to show a united front at Red Bull? Does he really think Verstappen can still win the championship? Comment down below and let us know what you think will happen by the end of the 2025 season. Now, of course, there is something to keep in mind with your predictions. This is Formula One, and you can never really rule anything out from happening. Prior to Horner's exit, Verstappen had claimed that he'd always dreamed of finishing his F1 career with just one team. But obviously, the rumour mill has gone wild after Horner's exit because nobody really knows whether it was a last push by Red Bull to convince Max to stay, or perhaps it was a result of Horner losing Max to Mercedes. Now, that news hasn't been confirmed. It's all anybody is talking about. But realistically, we might have to just wait until the summer break to find out what Verstappen wants to do with his future. But that is hard to keep the rumours at bay when you have insiders from the Verstappen camp saying otherwise. On a recent podcast appearance, Verstappen's brother-in-law, Nelson Piquet, let slip that Verstappen would be racing for Mercedes. And then when further pushed on whether he meant it or whether it was just a slip of the tongue, he said Antonelli would definitely be Verstappen's teammate. Now, of course, there could just be opinion, but either way, George Russell or Antonelli is going to have to say goodbye to their seat if Verstappen is signed by Mercedes. And at the moment, let's be honest, what would you do? Flee Red Bull while you still can, or stick around until there's no championship left to fight for?